And then we go, now we're ready. We're going to start on Facebook. So
You beauty.
we let everyone in, and then I start on Facebook while you chat and entertain everyone.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Everyone here, is everyone well? Everyone is a co-host, so everyone can unmute themselves. So when it's your turn, you unmute yourself, you chat.
Yeah.
I control the cameras. Don't control the cameras. I will just be changing cameras to focus on different people and us. And you guys, so
I'm going to start by introducing everyone first as well. So we'll just have a little minute on each of you at the start, and then we'll go gin to gin.
Yeah, just quickly.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of pictures of our still. Am I able to screen share?
Yeah, you can.
Right.
Yeah. You know how to do that? And yeah, perfect.
It's not his first rodeo.
As a co-host, you can. He shuts all the systems down. And, no, Blake. I trust Blake. Is ace.
You shouldn't.
You're going a long way after. I love you, Blake. I love my theme, Blake. I will continue.
I love you too, Jose.
Theme Blake a lot better than Chubby Blake.
Jose, you've been getting into the Pinos.
God.
I'm just going to order a pizza now.
Vino and...
All right, let's do it. Let's roll.
Okay. 41 people on the waiting room. There we go. So, there we go. Admit everyone and take the... There we go. I am admitting everyone and...
Welcome, everyone. Everyone's coming on in. All right, we've got about 40 people in here now, and I know there's a lot of people in groups as well at home. So it's probably a bit more than 40 people getting in now, getting up 45. Thanks everyone so much for joining in on tonight's tasting, the first stop of our Australian gin tour. Victoria. We thought we'd start in Victoria. That's where we are in Victoria, here at Casa de Vinos.
That has to be the prime and the first, stop of this gin tour, John.
That's right. It is really only just the start, but it's a bloody awesome start tonight, Jose.
Also, it was the hardest choice of distilleries, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was because it's our hometown.
Absolutely.
Right? So
there's an exorbitant amount of Victorian distilleries that are incredible. I guess a big part of the reason we chose the ones we did is realistically a lot of these guys are or have come from the spot of being smaller distilleries, independents, and gins that have been produced that are absolutely amazing. A little bit of housekeeping first. I guess what we'll do is you've obviously got all your gins there in front of you, and you've got your garnishes and you've got your tonics. And you might be wondering what sort of garnish goes with which gin, what tonics we're doing first. Don't stress too much about the garnishes and the tonics. We'll tell you those as the tasting goes along, which one goes with which. But I will tell you the gins and the order we're going in tonight, just so you can sort of get ready for that and you've got those in the right order. So tonight we're starting off with Brogan's Way, Hearts of Fire gin. Then we're going to go to Patient Wolf, Blackthorn gin, Lock Distillery, The Weaver, Larrikin Barrel Aged, and finish off with the Great Ocean Road Split Point. And again, we've got sort of an array of gins, lots of different gins, so we can take our palate on a bit of a journey, but also go on a bit of a tour through Victoria, not just all from Central, not just all from one spot, a little bit sort of a widespread across Victoria. I reckon I might start introducing the distillers that we've got with us
who we got tonight and the lineup. Everyone knows already the lineup because everyone's got the packs. But let's introduce a little bit the people that we got tonight.
So from Brogan's Way, we've got Brogan and Simon. Can we highlight them there, Jose?
Yes, let's highlight Brogan and Simon and Spotlight. There we go. They have unmuted. They are themselves.
There we go.
So there we go.
How you going, guys?
Hi. Fantastic to be with you guys. Hello to everybody out there. I saw some familiar faces on the gallery. Welcome.
So great to have you here, guys, and a beautiful backdrop there. Your distillery. I was just there a few days ago, and it's an awesome setup. Can't wait to have you tell us a little bit more about what you guys have going on there. Second up, we've got Blake a familiar
Hello.
face across the industry.
It's Spotlight Blake. Hang on.
Spotlight Blake there.
Where is Blake? There we go. Spotlight Blake.
Blake called from Patient Wolf, and it might look like he's at Patient Wolf there, but he's actually just at his home bar. Blake, how you going, mate?
This is what happens when you've got a great bottle shop like Casa de Vinos that exists. It's good.
You get stocked up in there. And are you guys? What have you guys been doing at Patient Wolf? Are you guys open at the moment with everything that's been going on, or?
We've been doing so much, Jono. We have been distilling our mates XPA beers from All for the Willows into hand sanitizer. We've been doing pre-batch cocktails for delivery. We've been doing online trainings and masterclasses for martinis. And we made some weird gin with some mates yesterday as well that I know Trish is curious about. So it's been fun.
Curious about it as well. I can't wait to this Blackthorn gin we're trying tonight. I think is absolutely exceptional, and I'm so excited for everyone else to try it. I don't think many people will have tried it because I know it's a relatively new one for you guys. So I'm so excited to get this one out.
You're exceptional.
Oh, Blake, stop it, mate.
Go to someone else. Who's next?
I can't wait to this Blackthorn gin we're trying tonight. I think is absolutely exceptional. Now, I'm so excited
Yes, we got
a little bit of feedback from Facebook here.
From Facebook. Let me just change that.
So after Blake, we've got the Lock Distillery, the Wheeler. Now, Craig and Mel couldn't join us tonight from Lock Distillery, but we're going to tell you all about their distillery and gin. It's absolutely amazing, and I can't wait for that one as well. We're lucky enough to be joined tonight from Larrikin by Chris and also Dave. So Dave looks after Iconic Beverages, who's a distributor for Larrikin across Melbourne. And can we spotlight
Dave?
Chris there?
This is Dave.
How you going, Dave?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Friday night knockoff drinks on I think it's a full moon tonight as well. So perfect time to drink some nice gins from Victoria.
The werewolf comes out tonight.
That's awesome. And we're really
Maybe
excited
gins it might, yeah.
to have this barrel gin in there as well. Barrel gin might be a little bit different than what other people have tried before. It's not your sort of traditional gin. It's something that's sort of become a little bit more prevalent in the last 5 or 6 years. Now there's lots of really good Australian barrel gins. So
Strawberry Moon. True. Strawberry Moon.
Strawberry Moon.
Yeah.
Strawberry Moon. That's Beck. Yeah. And Chris,
And
let me
Chris
just introduce Chris. I was a little slow with this. There's Spotlight Chris. How are you, mate?
Hi, guys.
G'day, mate. How are you?
Good. Pleased to be joining you for Friday night drinks. Be good to work through these. Some really interesting gins coming up. Really looking forward to it. So
yeah, we could. I would love to hear, a little bit about your production and everything when we get to your gin.
Absolutely.
okay, that gives me a bit of time to make it up then. Okay. Good.
Thanks, Chris. And then lastly, but not leastly, we've got Anne from the Great Ocean Road.
Yeah, Spotlight Anne. There we go.
Anne, how are you going?
I'm really well.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. You're down there in Aries Inlet in the
I am. I'm in Anglesey actually, but the tasting room's in Aries Inlet. But we're not open at the moment because of the restrictions. So
Right.
we're holding off a bit longer.
You've got a lovely backdrop there as well, and
Very good. Thank you.
good shirts as well. Really on brand. And
nice.
Yeah, they're a bit weird.
That's a red stripes.
You like them?
amazing. I can't wait to. I'm really, really fascinated by your gins, and I'm so excited for everyone to try them tonight. Because I think they're a great gin for this sort of tasting as well, because I've got so much going on.
So let's kick on, and why don't you explain?
Let's introduce Trish as well. First.
Oh yes, of course. Introduce the beautiful Trish.
So Trish is joining us here, obviously the Fever Tree ambassador. How are you, Trish?
So great to see all these beautiful faces, and I love that these are all distillers in my own backyard, you know, coming from Melbourne. And I really love the lineup of these gins and the tonics we're going to be trying today from Fever Tree, because they're actually quite winter appropriate. Not that that ever deters gin drinkers from, you know, not enjoying their favorite tipple in winter, but I think they're going to be really enjoyable tonight. So good stuff. Good to be here.
100%. Thank you, Trish. And some of these tonics, like the Sicilian lemon, which I hadn't tried until a couple of weeks ago when you suggested we put it with a couple of the gins, and it's awesome. And it's also like everyone that's come in thought it's great. So keen for everyone to try that one as well tonight.
Yeah, it's good. So everyone's got their pack. Why don't you explain, everyone, what's the mechanism? How are we going to taste the garnishes, the different tonics, so everyone knows how to go. If they need more glasses, ice.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to go from gin to gin and spend roughly about 20 minutes on each gin. If you have a glass or a few glasses in front of you, that's normally the best way to go, because that way, if we sort of like jump to the next one and you've still got a little bit of ice and the wrong garnish in there, you don't have to worry about, sculling it, or you've just got them in front of you. So having a couple of glasses in front of you is the way to go. If you've got a little bit of ice, beautiful. But essentially the tonics that you've got with you tonight and the garnishes and the gins, one of them goes with one of them, goes with one of them, sort of thing. And we'll all explain that as it goes along. There's 14, 15 pieces in front of you individually, but it's all actually pretty simple and all makes a bit of sense.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of thought about the garnish combination with the gin combination and also the tonic combination, which we will explain as we go through each gin.
Yeah.
Right. So who do we have first?
First up, we're going to go with the Weaver gin. Well, sorry, not the Weaver, the Hearts of Fire gin from Brogan's Way.
So let's spotlight there.
Hearts of Fire, Brogan's Way.
Yeah. Let's spotlight Simon and Brogan.
What we're going to do for everyone at home, if you've got your cup there, first of all, let's try it neat. So don't worry about putting any ice or any garnish in there. We're going to sit with it neat and have a little bit of smell while Brogan and Simon talk to us a little bit about it. And then we'll add a little bit of ice and the garnish as well to it. So I've got my Hearts of Fire here, Jose. I'll give myself a little tipple, and you don't look like you've got any glasses, but I'm happy to share one of mine with you.
Thank you very much, Jono. My assistant was not on point today.
So
let's
Brogan and Simon.
Yes, let's spotlight Brogan and Simon.
First of all, guys,
how are you guys?
Hello.
All good.
Yeah.
Charged up, ready to go.
Yeah, good. Let's tell us first a little bit about Brogan's Way, the name, what you do, where about is the distillery, a bit about your still, just a quick, so all the people.
So a little overview.
Yeah, an overview, a quick overview about when you started,
Sure. We're relatively young. We've only been in operation for about just over 18 months now. We're a father-daughter team. It's called Brogan's Way. Brogan is the head distiller, and it's called Brogan's Way for a reason, because Brogan gets her way. No, the real reason is that she's just the gifted one when it comes to designing flavors and drinks. So we do it her way. We started the journey nearly 4 years ago. When I quit my job and Brogan quit what she was doing, and we both went back to school to study distilling. Brogan did a Master's of Science in Brewing and Distilling, and I went and did a Food Science Distilling degree out of the UK. And along the way, we started to build and set up this place. So we're in Richmond. We're one of the 3 or 4 distilleries that are within easy reach of the city centre. So we're out to the east. I think there's a couple more on tonight that are in different directions. And we have a full distillery here. We have a cocktail bar and function centre. And it's home to our we're very proud of it, our Carl Still, which you can see in the background.
A wonderful Carl Still.
It's a 750 litre Carl Still. So it gives us a bit of ability to make lots of different products at quite a large batch size.
And the Carl Still, did you do a bit of thinking about why you go with that sort of particular still and the reason you landed on the Carl Still?
Yeah, we did like a lot of other distillers when we were working out what we wanted to do. We sort of toured the world visiting distilleries, and we just noticed that the Carl still produced a spirit that was the style that we liked. It's very clean, very crisp spirit. And every time we found something we liked, it just tended to come out of a Carl still. And so we decided that that was the way we were going to go. It was a bit of a journey to get the still. It's not the easiest thing, ordering a still. You would think it would be easy, but it actually took us a bit of time. It took nearly 18 months till it turned up. So
with the surge of basically craft distillers in the world, there is waiting list pretty much on every manufacturer for stills, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that happens. It's amazing. So 18 months you started, 18 months waiting for the still. So 3 years almost on this. Amazing.
So while we've got a little bit of this amazing Hearts of Fire gin in front of us, and we're having a little nose of it and we're tasting it, and what an awesome gin, an Australian contemporary gin, I guess the style would be. Can you tell us a little bit about this gin specifically and what you were going for with this one?
Yeah, so this gin is mulled wine inspired. So it's all those mulled wine flavors that everyone's really familiar with, but of course in a gin and not in a wine. So it's lots of cassia bark, nutmeg, cloves, cinnamon myrtle, aniseed myrtle, sweet orange peel, lots of cardamom, black pepper, it's roasted wattle seed, strawberry gum, a lot of these really bold flavors, and the aim was to be able to get them all in balance with each other so that not one dominated, but you got that really nice warming feeling that you get when you drink mulled wine.
Yeah, that's a lovely, lovely gin. And I think that sort of, that talk of the Carl Still and the clean spirit that it produces is so evident in this. Whilst it's hearty, it's a little bit peppery, it's spicy, it is just such a delicate gin as well. And with the botanicals you've got in there, in their own right could be potentially polarizing, but this to me just tastes so balanced and really, really, really amazing.
Brogan, which is your favorite botanical besides juniper, right? It's like this one that I want to have on. Also, the first one is like, I want to have this on my gin.
I really like roasted wattle seed. I think it gives a beautiful mouthfeel. We use it in almost all of our gins just because it creates such a beautiful, smooth mouthfeel. And if you use just a little bit, you don't get much flavor. But when you use a lot, you get that beautiful nutty, almond, roasted coffee, chocolatey flavor as well. So
awesome.
You really play around with it a lot, which is really fun.
Yeah. So let's, this as it is, and as we've said before, when we do these sort of tastings with gins, and any really drink that for that matter, we think that you should drink it however you like it. That's the way to do it. But we've got some arrangements here tonight, and also the distillery will have some ways that they like doing it. So tonight, what we're going to match it with for the garnish is a little bit of a dehydrated lemon. So you should have a little dehydrated lemon wheel in your garnish pack. Grab one of those, plonk that in. I think citrus and a charred citrus goes really well with this because it adds a little bit of earthiness underneath it, but that sort of like citrus kicks goes with it lovely. So that's the garnish that we've put with this one tonight. And then for the tonic, anything like a light tonic would normally go with this really well. Something like a Mediterranean tonic it'd be perfect, or any other sort of tonic that's not necessarily too imposing, and that beautiful gin can still sing through. But one of the tonics that Trish has suggested we give it a roll with is the Fever Tree Aromatic.
Yeah.
So maybe we can highlight Trish there, Jose.
Yes. Let's talk about Trish
and Trish.
Tell us a bit about the aromatic
tonic.
Absolutely. So I think it's so great. This gin, it is so winter warming, and you really do get those dry spice characters. And just the thing about Fever Tree is that we're made to be sort of a support to the spirits and just really help it along. And I really love these flavors, especially for winter. So those dry baking spice characters like your cardamom, those anise flavors. And so I've chosen the aromatic tonic with this one because it really amplifies that. And the aromatic tonic itself is pink. It's based off the traditional pink gin that sailors used to drink, which was essentially a gin of a higher ABV, a Navy strength gin. But I'm sure that Anne will get to Navy strength gin when she talks about her gin at the end. So I won't get too much into that. But what sailors used to do on naval ships was they used to put bitters into their gin, and that was a pink gin. Bitters originally was an anti-nausea medicine. And so they also, these sailors had sort of a rudimentary style of tonic, so that will go in there as well. And so you do get those dry spice characters you'd expect in bitters. So in the Fever Tree aromatic tonic, you've got cardamom, green ginger, Madagascan vanilla, and pimento and Angostura bark. So it's really quite winter warming. I think this is a really great combination to take that sort of beautiful, refreshing gin and tonic into wintertime. Hope you enjoy it.
100%. Such a good explanation. And I'm really, really enjoying this combination. As always, if you've got any questions for Trish or for any of the distillers or for Jose, all right, chuck it in the comments. And Jose's looking at the chat, so we'll get to them. Let's go back to Simon and Brogan quickly, if we can, Jose. And this is an amazing way to drink this gin. I'm really enjoying it. What sort of ways do you normally like to let this gin sing? Any sort of cocktails or combinations that you think go really well?
Yeah. In the bar, we like to serve it as a long gin, short tonic. So lots of gin, not a much tonic. And really highlight all the flavors and not overwhelm it with any sort of sugars or anything like that. And we find that works really well. We also, it goes really well in like a gin old fashioned or in hot chocolate. If you make a hot chocolate, you can put some in.
Oh yeah.
Or in any sort of sangria or mulled wine.
Sangria.
Wine.
Yes. Yeah. See,
we're getting some ideas now.
Sangria.
It pairs really well with red wines or even rosés. So you just got to get the balance right. A gin sangria is an awesome drink.
Amazing.
And don't ignore that hot chocolate. Just put a 25 ml shot into a full mug of hot chocolate. It's fantastic.
Makes a little spice hot chocolate. It's nice.
So as we're drinking our little Brogan's Way G&T we've got in front of us, I might ask you guys a few more questions about the distillery, if that's all right. In terms of the COVID scenario and all of this stuff that's gone on, how have you guys found it for your business? What's the sort of impact you've had? I guess you guys are very young, being only 18 months old. How did that sort of affect everything that was going on for you guys?
It's been up and down. We're very fortunate to be able to move into hand sanitizer very early on. So that helped a lot. And then we've been lucky that the local community have really got behind us and supported us. So we switched over to bottle shop and home delivery, and that's helped us out really right the way through till basically the last week of May. So we're very grateful for the way the community has stood behind us. Not having the bar running has been a bit of an impact, but we've also used the time to focus on new recipe development and just trying out new things. In fact, we're launching a new gin next week, so it's been fortunate to have a bit of time on there. But
so I reckon that's one of the big things of people trying to get busy with this COVID situation, and it's with R&D. What's next? You can tell us, or maybe you can want to tell us later what's exciting right now, what you've been getting your hands dirty on,
Well,
what can the people expect in the next few months? Something that's going to be like, wow, what I'm going to be drinking from Brogan's now.
At the beginning of this whole thing, we developed and launched a limoncello, but not a regular one. The idea was that bars were closed, so people know what margaritas are, people know what mojitos are, people know all these cocktails, but they probably kind of know how to make them, but don't really know how to. So it was like, here's a limoncello, you take this home, you've got tequila at home, you've got rum at home, you've got all those things usually. So you just add this, add that, and you're a lot closer to making a cocktail than you were before you bought it. So it's a bit different. It's a more contemporary style.
Yeah,
nice.
Awesome.
That sounds amazing. In terms of opening up now, things are sort of, restrictions are softening up. Can people visit you guys soon at the distillery?
So we'll be opening up next week, but with the rules having to serve a meal, means we have to do it in a rather limited way. We're hoping as we go into July, we can start getting back to running our normal cocktail classes, tours, master classes, things like that. But through the back end of June, it's going to be more around set times, set meals, and working that way, which is not our normal way of operating, but it should be good fun though.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's really good to see in the circumstances which probably aren't normally what you'd find yourselves in, the ingenuity there, and especially from you guys, a fairly young distillery in the scheme of things, but you're making such huge progress, and the gins, it's an awesome gin. Also, I just think the bottling is so amazing. The artwork is great as well. So all of the things on top of the gin, I think you guys are doing such an amazing job, and so happy to have you on the lineup tonight, and also on the shelf in the shop here. Thanks so much for telling us a little bit about your gin tonight, and I hope you will stay with us as we try these gins. So I know you've got all of the gins there in front of you as well.
Well, thank you very much for including us, and it's great to be with such good company of all the gins.
I absolutely love this. Thank you very much. This is very, very good.
Oh, it's great. And as always, as we always do, if you like one of the gins that you've tried tonight, you can grab it off our website. Jose, you can post the link.
Yes, I will post the links right now. People might see me a little bit distracted. Is the way I am facing. We got the street there, so we got some people coming in trying to buy booze from the shop.
We've got a normal menu.
Yeah, correct.
Can you highlight that one there? And then Bob's your uncle. We've got an operating store in front of us here, and there's people at the door sort of waving at us.
I was just going to do it.
Pulling faces.
There was no one now, but just then there were some people in front of us. That's the street. So we get normal people coming in trying to buy some booze, and we are.
And well, look, we're happy to have
sign that says that we're
on air. So
yeah.
So we're doing a discount code for everyone here tonight to say thank you for jumping in on the tasting, as we always do, and that's across everything on our site, including the gins tonight, so we can support the distilleries from tonight.
So tonight the code is Juniper. And with Juniper, you get 10% off anything on our website, including these beautiful gins. Mm-hmm. And then stay a little bit, because later on we're going to talk about a little promotion we have for the next gin tasting.
Yeah,
but
we're going to keep them going. We'll say a little bit more about that later on tonight. But Juniper, basically, if you like any of the gins, so I'll post the link in the chat.
Correct.
Get onto them.
And if by any chance you got any problems, technical problems on the website, just send us an email. We sort it out. We apply the discount, so don't worry about it.
It's all good.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. That's such an amazing gin. And we're moving on to an equally amazing one now. I, about 2 months ago, probably went down to Patient Wolf to have a chat to Dave down there and try some of their gins. And everything they've got going on is incredible. They're Melbourne dry. They're summertime. They're just sensational gins for so many reasons. But they're just legendary gins.
Yeah.
And then Dave pulled out this one, which is the Blackthorn gin from Patient Wolf.
Just change your.
And we had a little.
Here.
Yeah, there we go. Jose can show what the bottle looks like. And we had a little roll of this one, and it's incredible. And if you've got that one there in front of you, which you do, Patient Wolf, put that in your glass. Where are we? Where's our patient?
Look at that colour.
Oh, you've got it.
Yeah.
Can I have a little bit of that?
No.
Just a little bit. I'll go, mate. All right. And tonight we're joined by Blake from Patient Wolf. Can we highlight Blake there, Jose?
Blake is a good friend from a long time ago. Blake used to work for me maybe like 5 years ago back now. So I appreciate Blake from a long time. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, he left me.
Mm.
Fortunately for both of us, because he ended up distilling and now part owner of, one of the most successful Victorian distilleries. So,
Blake, how you going, mate?
I'm gonna cry a little bit. Hello, everyone. I'm really good. I'm coming to you live from Jose's cupboard, actually.
You never pay for anything. Don't worry about it. I know that.
It's
So,
free reign. You
Blake,
can drink everything.
first of all, can you tell us a little bit about Patient Wolf and?
Oh my God. I was hoping that you'd ask. Absolutely. So, Patient Wolf. We're a local distillery based right around the corner from Casa, Vinos in South Bank, and we've been making gin for about 3 years now. And what you've got here is our Blackthorn gin. Now, you might be wondering what Blackthorn is. I'm here to tell you, don't fret, it is a slow gin. Now, Jono, what do you know about slow gins?
Well, I think that, I don't know, back in England, slow gins were pretty popular, weren't they? Didn't they start in England? Is that right?
They did, actually. Now, I'll tell you the first time I ever tasted a slowberry. I actually went to Ireland and I went picking gin botanicals in the Glendalough Valley. And I went out there and I actually got to try slowberries off a plant, and they are just horrible. They're the worst fruit in the world. Now, everyone used to have slowberries growing in their garden, and they couldn't really eat them. They're very tannic and dry and bitter, and they've got a big stone. But what they did do was make some pretty interesting gins in the living room. Now, when they weren't so crash hot, they would infuse them with slowberries from the garden, and after a few months, you'd strain it off and you'd add sugar. We love that style of gin, but we noticed that slow gins over the years have got sweeter and sweeter, and the ABV has slowly started to drop. So very simply put, we simply made it a slow gin with our Melbourne Dry as the base, but we kept it boozy at 37% and kept the sugar as low as we possibly could.
Oh, and this is absolutely sensational. And I guess that's, you're dead right. That sort of the slow gin, the English style slow gin is a lot sweeter. It spends a lot more time in maceration, and often there's sugar added. But this is incredible. It's got like such a beautiful tartiness to it, and it's the perfect balance of all of the bitterness, the sweet, the sour.
I can see how versatile this is, because this could be as an aperitif on a gin and tonic, or could be as a dessert.
Yeah,
with a platter of cheese, totally, right? Just neat, almost like a liqueur.
Versatility is a really important thing to us. I think as a bartender, I've been making and shaking drinks for a few years. The trouble that I have with working with slow gins on the market is that they're so sweet. A lot of the time, we simply pour slow gins into Charlie Chaplin cocktails, which have lime juice to balance the sweetness.
Oh, bless
it's very rare to have a nice dry stirred cocktail with a slow gin. So we wanted to give people the option of how sweet they wanted to make their gin. So what we did was we actually got these fruits in from Tasmania. They're all hand-picked. Now, it turns out that slowberries were actually brought to Tasmania by the Scottish settlers. So when they landed, they used to plant them around the boundaries. And they didn't call them slowberries. They actually called them blackthorn. We took these berries that were hand-picked, we pressed them by hand, and then we threw them into a tank of our Melbourne Dry gin and essentially tried to forget about them. The tricks that we had to making this so great was we left the gin and the berries macerating for a longer period of time. That way you could draw skin and stone and all the flavor in between without increasing the amount of tannin. Once we're done that, we didn't need to add anywhere near as much sugar, so we could keep that gin really strong in there. So with Blackthorn, you can use it like a classic slow gin, being aware that it is a tad drier, but you can also mix it as a standard gin in G&Ts. And there's some cracking gin and tonic pairings out there.
Yeah. Now, Blake, when we started doing this, organising this tasting, I threw out the line. I said, we're going to match it with a garnish. And you came straight back to me and said, I'll drop you off some juniper. So everyone's got a little bit of juniper in their pack. Can you tell us about the juniper and what you want to do with it and why you put it in the pack and that sort of thing as well?
All right, definitely. So juniper is at the core of what we do with everything. Every product. We made a barrel-aged gin. We made it juniper focused. We made a slow gin. It was juniper focused. So if you've never seen one of these berries, this is fundamentally what is in every single gin on earth. Now, juniper berries, what I want you to do with these is actually rip them in half with your fingernails and open them up and smell them. You should get a really nice piney green freshness. These babies come all the way from Macedonia. We got a massive pallet in, all in old school Hessian sacks, and the whole distillery smells gorgeous. How good is that? When you open that up, you should bring that classic gin flavor. Now, when I make a gin and tonic, my rule of thumb that when I can smell something in a gin, it's great. When I mix it with tonic, I might not be able to smell it as well, especially with some of the awesome tonics like the elderflower tonic from Fever Tree. So instead, I use my garnish to bring the aroma back. So with a slow gin, although it might be a fruitier G&T than you're used to, this will keep that classic gin flavor.
That's, you know, I've seen juniper berries before, but I never had it on a garnish. Probably because you're not so accessible for the normal person to get juniper berries. It's not something you
pick them up from Coles or Woolworths in the spice aisle.
Really?
Yeah, really. Every single Woolworths out there.
Amazing. I didn't know about that.
Now, I do have a couple of serving suggestions if you'd like.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let's whack in. So this is sensational, and this is one of the gins that we're having tonight. Where absolutely, personally, I'd probably just my preference is neat, but the serving that we've gone with tonight is the lemon tonic. Now, this basically takes the gin from being the incredible, amazing, gorgeous sipper that it is to this beautiful, refreshing drink, perfect for winter where we're coming into at the moment. So the Fever Tree Sicilian lemon tonic, if you've got a little bit of that and a tiny bit, okay, I would almost go equal parts tonic to gin. You do not need much, just a tiny little bit in there with a bit of ice, all right? And that's going to make it into such a refreshing little beverage. This is one amazing way to have it, and I love it like this, but there are so many other awesome ways to have this gin. Blake, tell us a couple of ways which you guys like doing it at the distillery.
All right. I'm going to throw a little something up on the screen here. You let me know when you can see it.
There we go.
Hey. All right. Blackthorn. Here's what it is.
You brought a PowerPoint.
I brought a PowerPoint.
Fantastic.
First up, favorite ways to drink it in a spritz. Blackthorn, sparkling wine, orange and rosemary. It's herbaceous and citrusy, as orange is one of the two kinds of citrus that we use in a Melbourne dry gin. This is our still where we make everything. So I wanted to quickly show you this. This is a custom Mueller still, so it probably looks a bit different to most of the ones you've seen out there. Now, it works very similar to your classic or more modern pot stills, where you throw your ingredients in the base here, the vapor moves up into the hat, and it even goes through a little basket where we can pull out fresher flavors. The difference that we have is just here. We have a special column called an aromat column. What this does is instead of having lots of plates stacked on top of each other, it's actually a 10-meter long spiral of copper. So you get loads and loads of reflux, which helps us keep a nice flavor profile.
Awesome.
The other ways that I like to drink it, I've got one more suggestion for you. It's my personal favorite. I've just grabbed my bottle of Blackthorn straight out of the freezer.
Keep it cold.
So if you do have any left,
so it won't freeze if you put it in the freezer?
Not at all. My freezer goes down to -20.
What sort of freezer have you got there? Is it from NASA or?
No, it's a Samsung one. It's kind of fancy.
Right. Can you call
Very
people?
simple. Neat, slow gin, straight out of the freezer, ice cold, dark chocolate. Amazing. You got your perfect after dinner drink sorted.
Awesome.
So let's say you want to have this as a dessert. What would you do, Blake? Like you finish your dinner, you have your Blackthorn, you're having your cheeses with some fig paste or some quince.
Oh, with a cheese board, almost anything that you could pair a sherry cask whiskey to or a port to, you can drink Blackthorn with. The other great after dinner cocktail is called a Blackthorn, which is really simple. It's just equal parts of your sloe gin, of some sweet vermouth.
Well, you've got some
You
pops
had a
at
mixing
home.
glass already ready. Oh,
Here's one I prepared earlier.
He's been prepared for this for a while.
Stir that down with a little dash of bitters, but I haven't picked my favorite one yet.
It's
I'll
probably
throw that down. I'll drink that in a martini later.
All right, Blake.
Amazing.
While we're drinking these, because we've still got a little bit of time to talk about Patient Wolf, and I've still got a beautiful amount in my glass here. Could you tell us a little bit about Patient Wolf? What's the distillery's about? The move you sort of.
And I heard they've been developing some very interesting things in the coming weeks also.
Yeah.
I would love to know about what's coming.
What's been happening?
You know.
What's happening at Patient Wolf?
Oh,
What do
sure
you
thing.
expect coming out of this sort of post-corona world?
Another proactive distillery that's been working a lot
Yeah.
on the back of this pandemic and it's doing R&D, not just sitting still. So it's good. Yeah.
Well, we definitely haven't been sitting still.
I know you can't do that.
It's been a little bit tricky, especially with so many of my friends who work in the hospitality industry. And as we're such a popular gin in bars, it's been a bit of a struggle for us, but we've found ways to keep busy. One of the ways that we've done it is we've actually started batching cocktails, single serve drinks that we normally make in the bar, or some twists that we've been hanging on to for a while that you can actually take home. Or if you're in the area nearby, we'll deliver them to you. And one of them is a Blackthorn espresso martini. It is mind-blowing.
Mm.
The other thing we've been doing is distilling sanitizer, and that's all coming out of our brand new distillery, which we just built in South Bank. So we started off, this here is our old site in Brunswick. Is that image back up?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So recently we moved. So we found this great little old school red brick building, and we had to gut the place. We used to throw these parties, I guess you could call them, at our old distillery. We didn't have a bar all the time, but you could visit a few times a year. So we could have 300-400 people show up.
Yeah.
First thing we wanted to do was build a great bar, and the most fun part was I got to design it. So I'll take you through the door. Here we are.
Awesome.
Oh.
This is our new HQ. Some beautiful black crushed velvet curtains have been installed here, but this is where you can come once we get the place reopened and have a drink or a martini. That's the bar top. And standing right behind me, where we've taken this photo, is the still in its new location.
Wow.
So that.
And you do still sessions, right? You can get groups of people to do their own gin. You've been doing that for
We've been doing it with bars, actually. So we invite bar teams that support us. And just the other day, actually yesterday, Tiandra, the manager of Gin Palace, came out and we distilled a bubblegum gin.
Yum.
A 58% bubblegum gin.
Woo! What sort of bubble gum?
Oh, we put in strawberry
With
gum, we put in elderflower and loads of different floral botanicals with some essentially bubblegum essence that had a unicorn on the bottom with Chupa Chups.
Wow. Well, if you're ever around the area and you got a little taster of that, you know my address. Coming out of
There's something I'd love to leave you with, actually, is a story behind the name, if I could.
Yeah.
Great. So Patient Wolf, we named our gin after a woman named Lana Turner. And she was a drinker in what I think is probably the second best time after right now in history to be a gin drinker. You see, do you remember Prohibition?
I was alive.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Heard about it? I don't imagine that Prohibition wouldn't really stop you two. But Prohibition came in, of course, it was really hard to get booze. People made some nasty bathtub gins, and bartenders got very creative with cocktails. Once they lifted Prohibition, all the whiskey distilleries had to start aging whiskey, but gin could start being produced straight away. So all the British started rolling in there and selling gin, and it became the trendiest spirit of the time. Now, the way they did it was they gave it to celebrities, so big jazz musicians and movie stars, and one of them was a woman named Lana Turner. Now, Lana was an actress, actually, just after Prohibition. When she wasn't in front of the camera, being very pristine and very I don't know how you describe it. She had this amazing class and this refinement and sophistication. But when she wasn't in front of the camera, big gin drinker, big party animal. Loved a martini. I think she got married 8 times over the 40s and 50s. And the owner of the New York Yankees proposed to her by dropping a diamond ring into a gin martini, which kind of kills my lemon twist garnish idea. She had a quote, actually, and that quote made a lot of headlines, and we loved everything about her, that refinement, that sophistication, but also that edge. And that quote was, "A gentleman is simply a patient wolf." So we wanted to make a classic, refined, sophisticated style of gin with a little bit of attitude as well to honor her. So cheers to Lana.
Cheers to
And
Lana.
cheers to all of you.
Cheers to you, Blake. Thank you so much.
We got one more question, Blake.
Oh,
We
sure.
Rosie asking on the chat, how does she get hold of the bubblegum gin? Is that she got to go to Gin Palace?
All right, I can't tell you where you can get
It's a
hold of them. I
secret.
can't
And
tell you.
she will need to die if she knows.
Now, there is one bottle in existence.
One.
Now, we only made one bottle. You see, when we started distilling, actually, I'll show you. We didn't actually start distilling on that still that I showed you before. We started distilling
on that to
on
start.
this one.
Oh, the toy one.
It's not a toy.
No, well,
What we did was we
it's a
developed our
boy
gin
toy.
over 3 years
Well,
of
it's a
work.
big boy toy.
It's like a Hot Wheels and the other one's a car.
Yeah, correct. That's the Hot Wheel. The other one is the Bentley.
So,
All right.
with a 1 liter still, it allowed Matt and Dave to experiment and try lots of different gins, and they did it for about 3 or 4 years of working on it. And they would not release a gin until they kept going into Gin Palace and annoying Trish Brew from Fever Tree until she said it was good enough. So Trish was tasting the product over the years it was being developed. So if you like it, it's really probably on her. Thanks, Trish.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear from you a little bit more, Blake. But I just want to say thank you for joining us. You're not off the hook next because I'm going to ask you about this next gin. So stay with us. And Trish as well. This lemon pairing with this patient milk gin I thought was awesome. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well, perhaps. But to keep the ball rolling, want to move on with the next gin.
The next
gin is the Weaver from the Lock Distillery. Jose, can you highlight yourself there on that screen?
There we go.
So the Lock Distillery is a Gippsland distillery in Lock. And unfortunately, Craig and Mel, the guys behind Lock Distillery, couldn't be with us tonight. So we're still going to taste this one and chat about it because it's incredible. It's an amazing gin, and it's particularly incredibly amazing Australian gin because it champions Australian botanicals. Really big on juniper, lemon myrtle, aniseed myrtle, cinnamon myrtle, wattle seed, strawberry gum, cassia, nutmeg, coriander. So these are the botanicals that go into this gin, and they're all really, really big botanicals. And what you'll often find sometimes in distillers that use these, they might not let them all sing. They might let one of them hide behind another one, or one of them might be a little bit louder. Another one might just be there for the word on the bottom on the back of the bottle. But the reality is that in this gin, and especially with the higher ABV at 50%, it really, really lets all these botanicals sing. And it's probably one of the best examples of a modern Australian gin from Victoria. I would say since this big gin craze has started taking over.
Yep.
It's incredibly well balanced, and having a gin at 50% ABV is rare. Why would you do that? You're not trying to be Navy strength. You're not trying to take it to 43 to save a little bit on the excise. You're doing it at 50 because you think that's where the botanicals sing really well, and that's the case with this one. So pour a little bit in your glass if you've got it there or you haven't already.
Yep.
Have a little bit of a nose on that, and on the nose, Jose, what plays there for you mostly?
I found this very herbal, grassy, and a little bit of spice at the end, like dry spice. I would say like cassia, or of course the juniper is the most dominant spice, but quite dry on the mouth, and the length is absolutely amazing.
The length is phenomenal.
Yep.
Maybe, I'm sure Trish has tried this one before because Trish has tried every gin that's ever been in Victoria. So Trish, what do you think about this gin? Has it come across your gin table before?
Absolutely, many times. I absolutely love Loch, and it's such a beautiful place to visit. So if you are going to do yourself a favour when the world opens up again, take a road trip out to Loch if you're in Victoria. It's absolutely beautiful. They're such a wonderful couple. They'll really look after you. And, you know, if maybe you've roped your significant other into a gin tasting today and they might not drink that, they also do really great beers as well. So definitely go check those guys out. I love the Weaver. I love how fierce it is. And it's certainly one of my favorite Australian gins still. And they're just such wonderful people, which makes it even better. Now, I love that this is so fierce, 50% ABV. So I've paired it with the Fever Tree Indian Tonic, and this is kind of where the Fever Tree journey began. Now, I did tell you a little bit of a story before about how bitters sort of was an anti-nausea medicine for sailors. Now, tonic was actually an anti-malaria medicine originally, and the gin and tonic was actually born out of British colonial India. So this might be giving it away already, but when troops were stationed in British colonial India, they were given a daily ration of gin. What the troops used to do was they used to put their gin, which was an Old Tom style of gin at the time, so a sweeter style, and they used to put that Old Tom gin, that sweet gin, into their bitter tonic to make the tonic more palatable. And it's quinine that you're tasting that the bitterness comes from. And it was great hearing Blake talk about, you know, where they get their juniper from Macedonia. And, you know, Fever Tree does the same kind of thing. We go to the ends of the earth to get the finest botanicals. So it really pairs well and really lets these gins sing. And in addition to the quinine that we use, we've got Mexican bitter orange, marigold flower, and coriander. And so they're botanicals that you would expect to see in your classic London Dry gins. So this tonic also works really well with any gins that say London Dry on them.
Just to jump in, if anyone hasn't, it's the Indian tonic we're pairing it with tonight. So if you've got a little bit of ice there and you've got your Indian tonic, which is the beautiful gold one, crack that open, put a little bit of ice in there, a little bit of tonic, and because of the awesome botanical base in there, the way it goes, I've put in a little dried apple into your botanical pack there, into your garnish pack, and it'll look a little bit something like that. The best way to do it would normally be fresh apple, because we send these packs out sometimes 2 weeks before the tasting starts. We can't send out fresh apple because it'd turn completely brown. This isn't necessarily the ideal garnish in my perspective, but it's a way to get an idea of what a really good garnish for it will be. So if you've got your dried apple there, plonk that one in with the Indian tonic.
The same way you do your cheese platter, when you slice the apples very thinly. Yeah. Very nicely, you can do a lot of thin slices of apple. Yeah. Open it into like what do you call those, like
flowers?
Yes.
Stuff.
And you just like put them on the side as a garnish.
So that's that one with the Loch the Weaver gin. A little bit of apple fans. And I'd love to go back to Trish quickly so she can finish off what she was saying, because I was very much liking that.
Trish, don't you have like a color-coded thing for the tonics and gins?
Look, that is a really great cheat sheet. So, and we're going to be doing a bit of that later with the Mediterranean tonic. But if you're really unsure, Fever Tree's really taken the guesswork out of it. If the color of the label or the gin is a certain color, it will match with the label of the Fever Tree. Like, just, I think accidentally that came about, but you know, you can just like drink with your eyes. So, you know, I'm sure you can think of some blue bottles out there. If it's got a blue bottle or a blue label, it will go with Mediterranean. And Blake asked a really great question before. Would I recommend pink gin with the aromatic tonic? Absolutely, pink and pink. It's really too simple. So that really does take the guesswork out of it. No one's proven me wrong yet, but please let me know if I am wrong. There's so many gins out there now. But I think I'll probably finish on this so we can get back to drinking more gin. The lemon tonic that we tried. Now, normally what I'd recommend you do, I've already done mine, but you want to tilt the bottle upside down because it does contain fresh lemons. And again, on the sort of ingredient hunting story with Fever Tree, we get our lemons from Mount Etna in Sicily. So they're the best lemons in the world. They're massive, like football-sized lemons. They're normally used in perfume making. We extract the delicate essential oils by a process called sfumatrice, which captures the lightest essential oils. So it's really vibrant. And we use fresh juice as well in this. So it's very, very zesty. It's very tart. And I love the Patient Wolf Blackthorn gin. I think that's absolutely incredible because it isn't so sweet and cloying like some of the ones that you'll find on the market. So I agree. It's if you do want to turn it into a long, refreshing beverage, you can use the Fever Tree lemon tonic because it does kind of transform it into a beautiful cocktail, really easy to make. But yeah, again, our slogan is if 3/4 of your drink is a mixer, mix it the best. But the bartender in me will always tell you that if you like it or you don't, you're right. So if you want to add a little bit and then add until it's the desirable ratio for you, that is absolutely okay.
Mm-hmm. Trish, amazing. Thank you so much. And we'll definitely come back to you tonight. And I'm excited to hear a little bit about what Fever Tree is doing on World Gin Day as well, because World Gin Day next Saturday, you guys have got some cool stuff going on, and I want to hear a little bit about that. While we're still drinking this, because I've still got about half a glass here, and I drink pretty quickly, so people probably have a little bit left of this one. Maybe let's jump over to Blake. Blake, you love your cocktails. You're the gin cocktail man. What sort of stuff would you do with the Weaver? What do you think of this gin here?
Weaver, I really like the soft kind of grassy mouthfeel. So I think something stirred down and textural would be lovely. So, I think maybe a martini or maybe a martini with a spritz of lemon and something herbaceous.
Show us the bird, Blake. Is that a bird?
Did Lauren just asked us to see the bird? Blake, we already have 3 gins.
We've had 3 gins. Show us the bird.
Blake, it's only 8 o'clock, so it's PJ.
Not his bedtime yet.
What's the name? You got a second bird, but it's put away. Yeah. What's the name?
This is Robbie.
Robbie. Leaf loves Robbie. Gorgeous bird.
Amazing. Probably had a few gins already.
Any textural gin with a really nice mouthfeel. I think if you mix it into a tall, bubbly drink, except for Old Tom gins in the Tom Collins, but I really love like nice classic stir down martinis for anything with a nice silky mouthfeel.
Do you put water in Robbie's little water bowl, or do you put gin in it?
Can I answer that later?
Absolutely.
We guarantee there's no one from PETA in here, so you can answer pretty much.
Unreal.
Yeah,
it's
good. Very good. Yeah.
It's so good.
Unreal.
Thanks so much for your thoughts on that one, Blake. And it was good to meet Robbie, and so good to have you on. We'll go back to say good day to you later on after we've tasted them all to see how you're going, see if Robbie's gone back to sleep. While we trudge on with the tasting, we've got a little bit of this still going on. Let's keep sipping, but basically a little bit to tell you a little bit more about why we do this and what we've got going on is we started this gin tasting, these live online gin tastings as a means to sort of do something during a period where we were all a bit stuck at home. And we found it was more sort of for a lot of our friends, our regulars in the close area. And we launched our first one and lots of people latched onto it. Lots of people from all around Australia. We've got some amazing people here from New South Wales, from Queensland, from Tassie, from all over the shop. And it's been so great to get you involved in these. And the idea was that we'd do an Australian gin tour and we'd go all the way around Australia and we'd focus on 5 gins from each state. And we think that we're gonna keep doing that because this is awesome and it's such a fun thing to do. And hopefully things go back to normal and we can go to our pubs, go visit our distilleries. But we're going to keep doing this because we think this is a fun little way to sort of be able to connect all of this from across Australia and hone in on some gins that might not necessarily be in your local bottle shop. So coming up after this one on the 3rd of July, Jose, we've got Tasmania. The Tasmanian gin tasting. Now, this for me is one that I'm very passionate about because I love Tasmania. I'm Tasmanian born and bred, and it's it's a place that means a lot to me, and a place where the gin scene is absolutely booming. There's
Your home ground.
It's my
It's a
home
big
ground.
thing.
There's 50 distilleries in Tasmania now, and if you haven't heard of a lot of them, you might not think it, but there's an absolutely booming gin scene down there. So stop 2 of the Australian Gin Tour is going to be Tasmania. And before we get on to the rest of the gins tonight, I want to show you the gins we're going to do. Should I do that? Is that all right?
Yeah, I think
I'll show you the gins we're doing for the Tassie gin.
We're
tasting.
starting with...
So 3 Cuts, Turner and Smith. This is an amazing gin. They've got 4 rose petals in there, which is awesome, but like a lot of juniper as well still. So it's almost a dry gin style. Next gin, please, Jose.
Next gin.
Oh, Taylor and Smith. So these guys out of Moona, just outside of Hobart, they make an incredible gin. This is probably the prettiest gin that I've tried this year.
Absolutely stunning. Under bottle. Like
right.
It's
incredible.
You think that kind of design is kind of like Japanese style. It's like tiny and very cute.
So delicate.
Yeah.
Next gin, please, Jose.
And then we got someone for
everyone, hey? So this is the pink gin. The pink gin, Meadowbank from Loreni. So Loreni Distillery have been a big stalwart in the Tasmanian scene for a long time. And this pink gin, this Meadowbank pink gin, is absolutely delicious. And who doesn't love a little bit of pink gin every now and again? Next gin, please, Jose.
And we go on the...
Tell us about
colours.
The Butterfly. From
no,
McHenry's.
you can tell everyone about it.
So Butterfly gin from McHenry's. They use the Butterfly P. This is one of the amazing ones that, has...
I want to highlight here the colour.
It's such a good colour.
It's amazing. It's spotlight here. So you guys can see that one.
It's a bloody gorgeous colour. So that is going to be sensational. This is the Victorian tasting we had tonight. There's no way you could top it, but this tasting right now is on par with what we're doing tonight. And we're going to be joined by someone...
He's still proud of being Tasmanian, so he wants to say it's better.
We're going to be joined by someone from all the Tasmanian distilleries.
What about Jono?
All right, Jose.
No way, Jose.
So this last one is a very special one as well. This is the Knock Lofty Quince Garden Gin, and this actually hasn't really been out of Tasmania yet. The guys at Knock Lofty were kind enough to let us extract some of this from Tasmania for you guys. They don't do very big runs of this, and they let us grab enough bottles to be able to package them up, to be able to send them out to you guys. So for the next tasting, we've sort of got the Australian premiere of the Knock Lofty Quince Gin. And so it's going to be...
So Lauren says she loves the raspberry garden. This is Quince.
Yeah.
The winter fruit.
Raspberry garden is awesome. It's a little bit sweeter. This is Quince. It's got the sweetness, but it's got this awesome round and bitterness. Yeah. I would say if you were in the last gin tasting, this is like a mixture of the fig gin and a raspberry gin. It is sensational. It's such
rare as
hen's
nice teeth, they say.
Well, that's it,
But, the people are not lofty love you, so they let us have some of the limited release. So, yeah.
So, Jose,
on the show.
Jose will put a link to the next leg, the Tasmanian leg, in the chat. And if you get it tonight and you use the code Juniper, you get 10% off.
You get 10% off the tasting and anything else.
And then on the website, yeah.
And I bet most of the people here did not know about some of these gins before. We're trying to get obscure, small brands, and we're trying to support small distillers.
Small batch distilleries.
Correct.
That's what it's all about.
That's our motto. So, yeah.
So, Knock Lofty, that one, I'm so bloody excited to taste it.
So looking forward to do a gin and tonic with that, or just drinking neat.
Let's keep on rolling with these incredible gins we've got in front of us tonight. Next up, we're going to go with the Larrikin Barrel Aged Gin. I'm going to pour a little bit into my glass right here. Jose, maybe for the barrel age, you can pull out one of your fancy whiskey glasses you got out the back for yourself.
I do, yes.
Jose's off out the back. He's got some whiskey glasses that he'll smell all these whiskeys in, and this sort of so this is barrel aged, as I understand it, in Sullivan's Cove whiskey barrels, which is incredible.
Actually, ex-Hallier Road.
Hallier Road, right? So another Tasmanian distillery, but Hallier Road barrels. And yeah, and absolutely sensational. Whoa, Jose, you pulled out the fancy ones here.
Put out the fancy ones.
So barrel-aged gins sort of have only really recently emerged in the last few years. Four Pillars sort of were a first champion of them with their sherry and Chardonnay barrels, and they're absolutely sensational. Now we see, McHenry's has a wonderful barrel-aged gin. So many distilleries have gorgeous barrel-aged gins. And one of the best barrel-aged gins we've come across in a while is this one, a Victorian one from Ballarat, from Larrikin. So let's jump over to Dave first. Introduce Dave. Dave, how are you going, mate?
I'm good. I'm very good. There's been some amazing gins in this lineup so far. So, and I'm really glad that you guys picked the barrel age one, which is actually a limited release, which probably Chris will talk about a little bit more. But as you said, yeah, barrel aged gins are a little bit of a, I guess not an anomaly, but a little bit, left of center style gin. So with this one, we've just rested our gin in ex-Hallier Road whiskey barrel. Now, these whiskey barrels, which probably Chris will elaborate on a little bit more, they're very old, tired whiskey barrels. Now, when you get oak timber that's been holding whiskey for a long time, the older it is and the more whiskey or different distillates and things like that that have been in the barrel, the less flavour it imparts. So with this one, Chris and the team have done a really good job in still keeping that essence of a gin in a bottle after it's been rested or barrel aged in a ex-whiskey barrel. So yeah, you're only getting those small nuances of the whiskey sort of oak characteristics in there. And it's basically just to sort of settle the gin down.
Settle the gin, really. 100%. And it's sensational. So the way for the people that, for everyone else wondering what we're going to do with this one, the way we're going to do it is traditionally the way I like to drink these barrel-aged gins is neat with a little bit of ice and a garnish, okay? But a lot of people, and I was in a boat for a long time where I couldn't drink spirits straight like this. And if you can't, that's all good. It also, as we'll talk about a little bit more, goes pretty well with the aromatic tonic. So if you've still got a little bit of the aromatic tonic and you can't drink the spirit straight, the aromatic tonic is a really good way to go. But to start with, try and give it a go. Have a little nose of it, have a little swirl of it, have a little taste of it as it is, maybe with a little bit of ice if you want to cool it down. And we'll talk a little bit about the garnish we've put with it in a second.
I also like Dave, because I know Dave for a long time. He's a very good cocktail bartender. That's his background. How does barley gins come into the market, and what is the purpose of barley gins? There might be some people that don't know why there's barley gins. Why would you put a gin on a barrel, right? Yeah.
Well, for me as like a cocktail bartender, they were a bit of a bridge or a gap between the whiskey drinkers and the gin drinkers. So there's a lot of people out there that they're very focused on single malt whiskies, and they're the only best whiskies in the world. And then you've got the gin drinkers and things like that. So it was a bit of from a bartending perspective, it was a bit of a bridge to bring those two worlds together. And, a lot of barrel-aged gins do bring those nuances of whiskey into the botanical world of gin. So it was a good way to mesh those two worlds together. So from a bartending, you can use amazing barrel-aged gin. Yeah, you can use a barrel-aged gin almost the same way as you can use a nice whiskey in a cocktail like a Manhattan or whatnot. But, there is a bit of cross-pollination or whatnot between drinking styles and drinkers and their palates. So I think that's where barrel age obviously didn't originate, but that's where it's definitely got a place in the market today.
I think
there's no right or wrong way to drink gin, right? But in my case, which everyone has their own ways, I like fresh gins or gins with fresh botanicals, or cocktails that have a lot of fresh fruit. But when you're talking about with certain cocktails are more about some ingredients like vermouth and cognac, and sometimes an aged gin, a barley gin,
is the way to go.
Is the way to go.
Absolutely.
Because it's like you're talking about all these components that being just like settled down and give you a lot more mouthfeel. Mm-hmm. That's the idea of a barley gin.
And that's what this is amazing. Yeah. Let's jump to Chris. So we're lucky enough to be joined by Chris tonight. Chris from Larrikin, thank you so much for joining us. First of all, how are you going?
Good. It's been really good. you always learn stuff when you're doing these courses or these events, and there's been some great gins. So I'm actually delighted that one of our gins is part of this great lineup. I'm just going to take this chance. I would really have a chance to correct Jose, but I just want to say to you, Jose, there is one right way to drink gin, and that's as you like it.
Correct.
The great thing about gin is it's so versatile. And sure, some of us that make it might cringe when we see what somebody does with it, but if they like it, that's the right way for them.
Exactly.
True.
It's almost what I said, but in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Chris, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Could you tell us a little bit about Larrikin, where you guys are, a little bit of the ethos in this gin?
Okay, well, we're based in Ballarat. We have a couple of stills because we have been producing new make for whiskey as well. And in fact, the background to the distillery is that with partners in Ballarat who run a small brewery, we decided to go in jointly and start producing spirits. And with my background, I had a big interest in whiskey as well as gin. And initially we were going to focus on the whiskey, but when we did a research tour and around UK, I realized that particularly knowing our partners and Scott, the brewer's ability to pick out flavors and work out what you put in and what you'll get out, we just turned our entire model on its head and said, let's park the whiskey, let's focus on gin. So it wasn't a secondary thing, it was our main focus. And only once we got what we were happy with did we move to produce whiskey as well. So we've actually been delighted with how things have worked out. We've got a pot still. We, as with Blake's, we pump it through a carder head to extract the flavors. We do entirely vapor infusion. We don't soak anything in the pot.
Wow, that's interesting.
The carter head, and then just condense it again. So
Yeah, that's
we don't have a spiral.
The vapor infusion technique. That's an interesting one to use that with no steeping. In terms of the barrel for this one being a barrel aged gin, the other thing I'm going to do is if I've been trying this gin a little bit throughout the last couple of weeks, and we were wondering what tonic to put with it, XYZ. As you know, as Chris was saying, you don't necessarily need to put anything with anything, but if you like a gin a particular way, that's how you do it. So the one thing that we gave you was a little bit of star anise, which I'm sure you guys might know what star anise is like. Looks like what it is. There's a bit of star anise in your pack, a little bit of ice with a little bit of star anise. Mix that around. To me, this gin has a beautiful, beautiful honey flavour to it. Right? That's what I get from it. What everyone else gets from it might be different. But to me, I get really nice honeyness.
I love honey.
And that sort of licorice anise from the star anise, that mixed with the honeyness, to me just makes it such a beautiful little treaty, sort of like almost desserty gin. And that's the way I like it. So that's why you've got the star anise there. So we're not going to match a tonic with it, but if you do have a little bit of the aromatic, Dave and Trish found that it goes really well with it recently. So one last thing from you, Chris, while we've got you here, because it's so amazing to have you. Can you tell us a little bit about the barrel itself and the selection?
Yeah, I will do. Just want to pick up on your recommendations. When I'm saying there's one right way to drink gin, I do think also it's really helpful to guide people. And I think what you've chosen with the star anise is excellent. So sure, there's still a role to guide people. The barrels are interesting. Sometimes you're just lucky with things, and those barrels were in fact American bourbon barrels, which might be where you're picking up a bit of that sweetness. We don't know where they came from in US because they were brought in by Hellier's Road and used for whiskey. Scott, one of our partners who does the distilling, was from Tassie, and his cousin contacted him and said, hey, I've got these old barrels that I was given by Hellier's Road when they were finished with them. Any chance you want them? And so we got these 5 old barrels, and they're absolutely ideal for gin. I mean, I think one of the things we've touched on already is when we talk about barrel-aged gin, the aging is very short. Gin is a light spirit, very light spirit, and if you look around the different barrel-aged gins, you will typically find they're in there for 2-3 months. We age at 3 months at the most. And we can do up to 3 months because the barrels are old barrels. They've given up a lot of the oakiness, so that the oak is not going to dominate the flavor. You're going to get some of the other flavors pulled out rather than the oak.
Awesome. And it's such a great example of barrel-aged gin. And I'm so excited to see the more experimental gins coming out. And the barrel-aged is a big exponent of that. So, Chris, thanks so much for jumping in, and we'll probably jump to you a little bit later on as well as we say goodbye to everyone. But in terms of a match for this tonic-wise, I know Dave, maybe we jump back over to Dave if we can, Jose.
Yes, we can.
Dave was saying that he tried this with Trish or something, and you found the aromatic tonic went really well with it.
Yeah, Trish and I were doing a bit of a similar thing the other night with one of our other gins, actually, the Sunburn Country, which is a bush tucker botanical one. And what Trish was alluding to was that the aromatic style Fever Tree tonics work really well with barrel-aged gins, which I hadn't tried before. So we tried it there on the night. We tried it with the Sunburn Country, and we found that the aromatic style, or the bitters that are in the aromatic, or like the lemon lime and bitters thing, really sort of complements those sweeter style gins, like a barrel aged stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna go with she's the pro with the tonic waters, hence the Fever Tree stuff. I've got my little Fever Tree glass here, but definitely would recommend it with an aromatic tonic. That's for sure.
Interesting. Really interesting. Can we go back to Trish? Jose, are you able to facilitate that? Jose, normally I'm Jose's assistant with all the other tastings
I'm the
tonight.
assistant
and
tonight.
So tonight for the gin tastings where Jose gets to be, I'm really working. Jose, can we just go back over to, can we do this, Jose? So Trish, aromatic tonics with barrel-aged gins.
Absolutely, and this was great. And this is why I really love just being a part of, this industry. I get to hang out with these amazing distillers, and like Blake's a friend of mine, and it's really great just living the dream just right now. Love gin, people. So I was hanging out with Dave the other night, and we were having this conversation because I tried it with their gins, and I think it worked harmoniously. But it makes sense because when you think about barrels, and especially American oak contains quite a substantial amount of vanillins in it. So if you're not familiar with vanillins, it's actually where vanilla essence comes from. Vanilla essence does not come from vanilla. So it is really vanilla flavored though. And so again, compare or contrast. And so in the Fever Tree aromatic, you've got the vanilla from Madagascar and all those like dry spice botanicals. And like, even if you used a barrel that might be French oak to barrel age something, you get different flavors, but you still get those dry baking spice botanicals like maybe clove or cardamom, and that will work really well together. And I think when you're mixing, just think about what you want to bring out of it, because again, Fever Tree is a support act and one that's done very well, but it is all about your drinking experience. So that's absolutely right. So if maybe you think that the gin is too spicy and you want to dial it back, maybe you will just put something a little bit more delicate in it, like the Fever Tree Naturally Light tonic, and that'll rein that in. But I really love this. And again, it is really winter warming characters. So I think for winter, like that combination for me is just absolutely delicious. Yeah. Good stuff.
That's amazing. And World Gin Day coming up on Saturday.
Tell us a little bit what you have organized for World Gin Day. And Jono wants a pack of.
All I was going to say is I've got my ticket here, but I just didn't get in time for a pack, so I don't know. Maybe if Trish, you could.
Definitely.
Drive by and drop us a pack for Jono, because you'll be upset.
You can get it all at Casa de Vinos, so you're safe. It's going to be fine. My background has been in gin for the last 9 years. So I used to run the Gin Palace in Melbourne. So I love gin. I love growing with these Aussie distillers, and I know them quite well. It's just so great. And for me, we used to have these massive parties at Gin Palace where we would just throw these outrageous, ludicrous events. And it was always about celebrating gin. And World Gin Day is always on the second Saturday of June. So not tomorrow, next weekend. And it was basically came about to just drink gin with your friends and your loved ones. And, you know, we decided Fever Tree last year that we were going to throw a big gin festival, which we did, and it was absolutely amazing. So we'll keep you posted about that. Follow us on Instagram. We'll always keep you updated with those things. We'll be like focused on quite a lot of gins, like local and foreign. And because we couldn't do our festival because of the current climate, we decided to do the world's first gin and tonic festival online. And there was so much interest that we have so many different gins joining us, and it all came together really quickly. So it is about celebrating gin, and all the gin packs have been sold, unfortunately. But the gin packs are all quite different. They are a mashup of all of our friends and favorite gins, and we've got gin giveaways. So log on. If you jump on our Instagram page, in our bio, you'll find a link where you can still get a ticket to jump on. And the guys at Casa, Vinos know their gin, so they will be really great guys to help you out with what you should be drinking. Definitely pick up a bottle of all the guys that are on here today, because they're so passionate. They make great stuff. And don't forget to pick up and chill your Fever Tree, and you can still join in for free and listen to us have a waffle on and give away some prizes.
Don't steal my ticket though. This one's mine.
Hide the QR code. Hide the QR code. Not resetting another door.
That's all right, Trish. You can send me the gin straight away. That's fine.
Will do.
So thank you so much for the larrikin, for Dave from Iconic. We'll go back to you as well, and Chris for jumping on. I hope you got the tasting pack as well, Chris. I think you did. That was an incredible gin, and I've had so much fun tonight with the lineup, and it's been great. And we've saved one of the absolute very, very best for last. Waiting there patiently, so patiently, at the end of the line is this incredible, absolutely incredible Great Ocean Road split point.
He does love it. He's not saying that because he's going to be your way just tomorrow, because he got the day off and he's going back to Lawn. So, and he might knock your door.
That's right. I do have
you rearrange
the long weekend off, and I'm going down to Lawn. So I may be just getting thoughts about going down the Great Ocean Road.
You just arrange your gin tasting with your mates.
So we've got the Great Ocean Road Split Point Gin, a Navy strength gin at 57% ABV, and we're joined by Anne from Great Ocean Road Gin. And the amazing thing about Great Ocean Road Gin, from my perspective, is the ingenuity. Anne will tell us about it. She gathers a lot of botanicals from around the Great Ocean Road, really interesting ones that you might not have tried before, like saltbush, kelp, peppermint gum, incredible botanicals. Let's jump over to Anne. Anne, how are you going? Thank you for waiting so patiently.
I'm good, but 5 gins in, this is pretty tough.
I know. Well, we kept the Navy strength.
Well, I should have been first.
It might have been a little bit different.
I'll try my best.
That's it. So, Anne, as we all pour a little bit of this into our glass, you should have it as your last little sample, the Great Ocean Road. Pour that into a glass, and we all have a smell of it. Can you tell us a little bit about this gin and about you guys?
I can. So we're also pretty new. In by way that 2017 started researching the gin and had it on the market by August 2018 in terms of the first gin. But this one followed close behind because it is the same botanical base as the contemporary dry gin, but it was working through, so I don't have my own distillery yet. I do my production with the wonderful people at Brogan's. So with Brogan and Simon, who are fabulous to work with. So it's great to share the stage with these guys here tonight, and this amazing piece of equipment behind them too, which is a nod to why this gin tastes so fantastic, as does Brogan's beautiful work distilling it. So I guess I'm one of those people that are still working with another distillery until I have my own distillery up and running, which hopefully will be in the near future in a location in North Torquay, which is where I'm currently looking to establish the gin in the next 6 months in terms of the distillery.
And tell us a little bit when or where the passion for gin started for you.
Yeah, so I have been working in the food and booze scene for about 20 years, but my last role was with the Royal Aquaculture Society Victoria. So working with the Australian Association, which was really at its very beginning with Bill Lark, and then Stu Gregor came on board as the president with a newly formed association. And so with that association started the first Australian distilled spirits competition. So working with some fabulous judges and processes and understanding what was happening in Australia at that time with spirits and with flavour and with provenance. All of those things were really important when I decided, as Simon said himself, to change careers and quit my job and throw some passion behind this beautiful gin and gins of the future. So I was exposed really early on to the Australian spirits scene, and with some great mentors was able to get my gin off the ground. So
I'm so infatuated by this gin. I think one of the most amazing gin, the reasons why I like this gin, I remember smelling it for the first time and saying to you, this smells like I'm at the beach. It smells like I'm at a rock pool, and you're like, that's exactly what you're going for.
Yeah. So it's the love of the coast. So my parents had a house down the coast for 47 years, and we burnt down the Ash Wednesday bushfires and rebuilt. And so that the coast, the Great Ocean Road, has always been a very special place to me. And so wanted to, when I quit my job and wanted to start a gin business, it was really about creating a gin that was out the coast, that smelled of the coast, that just had some great memories of experiences of summers past. So it was collecting different botanicals, as you mentioned, like kelp, which I get from Govos, which is where the first gin is named. And this gin is called Split Point after the lighthouse at Aries Inlet, which is now our home, our tasting room. But things like hot wattle and different types of eucalyptus. You mentioned saltbush, and there's a number of different distilleries now that are using things like saltbush, but we're using ruby saltbush, which hasn't been used before, but is unique to its location. Things like hot wattle, some local honey, which so you get some lovely sweetness as well as part of, because it's such a big gin at 57% as a Navy strength gin. That sweetness really helps.
It's awesome as a Navy strength. There's so much to talk to you about this gin because I love it. What we maybe want to do is add a little bit of, because it is at 57%. It's a bit, probably a little bit different. Should we add the tonic to it now? So we match this one with a Mediterranean tonic. So the Fever Tree, the wonderful Fever Tree Mediterranean tonic, that with a little bit of ice. Now this is the point in the night where you get to utilize your candied orange. Okay?
Candied orange.
Now
Jono's been
slaving over the stove,
simmering oranges.
Beautiful.
And they're very sticky, so this is going to be a bit of a sticky situation. So maybe use one hand to grab it, one hand to use your keyboard. But these candied oranges are amazing. Essentially, they're like stewed oranges. And what I do is I rub a little bit around the rim of my glass, so you get a little bit of sweetness and then plonk that in as well. While we drink this, and I think this is such an incredible combination, and can you tell us a little bit about the story about Split Point and the reason that you've chosen to call this Navy Strength Gin Split Point and that connection to the Great Ocean Road? Because I think that's such a beautiful story.
So Split Point is the lighthouse that is, I guess, the beacon that you see as you're coming around the Great Ocean Road. It's one of the first landmarks that you see, and it was built in the 1800s really to prevent a number of shipwrecks that were happening. So there was something like 10 to 15 different shipwrecks that were happening across that coastline until that beautiful building was built. So it just is, for me, I'm driving around the coast from Anglesey and I get to Urquhart Bluff and Govos, which is where I'm foraging for the kelp. And then I see the lighthouse in the distance. And for me, it's just a memory of feeling like I've arrived home. So it's always held a really special place in my heart, but it's also been a very historic building for the coast, and it saved lots of seafarers' lives. So this is a nod to seafarers, past and present.
Yeah. What better Navy strength gin than something that pays so much homage to the actual sea itself. I think that's awesome. So
Natasha wants to know how to make this garnish at home.
the candied orange,
The candied orange.
it's good, isn't it?
It's a John's secret. If he wants to develop this is.
So the shortest answer I can give you is basically everything is on YouTube. I could give you a 10-minute tutorial on how to make a candied orange, but it's probably going to start to veer off into some other sort of land. So in essence, and this is the garnishes we've used tonight. We've made them all. We've dehydrated them all. The dehydrator I used to make these garnishes cost me $40. You can buy really
You can
cheap.
make it your own.
You can buy
Look,
cheap
we don't have the
dehydrators.
$40 one that you can buy. We got the kind of industrial one, but
Yeah, the one we've got out the back.
you can get one.
Huge.
Yeah, we can get
massive, thousands.
You can get your dehydrator for $40. And also China is going to launch tomorrow. He's not going to have much to do. So,
I am going to lawn tomorrow, that's right.
He's going to draft how to make candied oranges
I'm
on the
putting
weekend.
website, aren't I?
Yes.
I hear, and you're delivering your wonderful products. Your cellar doors not open, but you're delivering them all around the surf coast.
I am.
Is that right?
I am, yes. I will
Send you
be.
my address.
I will be delivering. Hop in and have a drink with me at the cellar door, in the tasting room.
Yeah, absolutely. So
And cellar room, how can everyone reach you? What's next coming in the next few weeks? What would you have for the long weekend? There might be a few Victorians.
So we're not officially open for the long weekend, but for Jono, I'll certainly shout him a gin at the tasting
Then
room.
you drop off on the door.
Officially open. So, but we are doing online sales, and I'm doing delivery home, like same day delivery of gin for people who are delivering along the surf coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. And
I'm hoping to be open by July.
yeah. So you've got the amazing Split Point gin, which I love. You've also got the Gavos, which was the sort of first one you made, and this grapefruit cello.
Tell us about
raspberry.
grapefruit cello. That just sounds like I don't know, liquor porn.
Right.
Grapefruit cello.
So,
Cello by grapefruit.
Is also a gin-based liqueur. So we also have a raspberry gin-based liqueur, and this is a new one that we just released about a couple of weeks ago. So we did a small batch. We only did 66 bottles in the first run, but we've already sold out. And it's a mix of Victorian grapefruit and also some grapefruit that we got off an old tree in Aries Inlet. And as part of this process, I've also learned that I have a family connection, my cousins, distant cousins, were growing orchards in Aries in the 1800s. So it was a fantastic discovery as part of this process of using some local fruit.
Amazing.
But we will be continuing to do that gin because it was incredibly popular.
I think one amazing thing about your gin and the Great Ocean Road gin is how incredible it is getting those botanicals from along the coast. It's really unique, and there's so many gins popping up, so many distilleries, and you've got a massive point of difference, and that really stands out to everyone who comes in here and tries all the gins we have. Your gin tastes a lot different from everyone else's, and that's a really, really cool thing.
Yeah.
Thanks, John.
So as we polish off this amazing G&T, let's go back through everyone that we've had tonight and say thank you and see how they've all found the night. Brogan and Simon still with us there?
Yes, Brogan is here. Again, spotlight Brogan.
Brogan, how have you found tonight? Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, good. This has been so exciting. Thank you so much for having us. Dad's just popped to do something, but it's been so good. It's also
I love
so nice
the
to
lighting you have on the distillery.
Yeah, he was playing with that before changing it. but yeah, it's so nice to see everyone's faces again. Haven't seen people in such a long time, it feels. So
That's it. Well, I can't wait to come down to your distillery when things go back to normal. And also, amongst your amazing gins, you help and produce this awesome Great Ocean Road gin. So thanks so much for joining us tonight.
So just on a quick one to remind us, Brogan, on a short one, what's to expect from you guys coming in the next couple of weeks?
so next Saturday on World Gin Day, we're launching a passion fruit husk gin.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
Passion fruit custard.
Oh,
Husk.
Husk with a K. See,
A little bit.
We got lost in
yeah,
translation.
so it's going to be a little bit bitter, no? A little bit sweet.
It's really sweet, super floral, lots of fresh lime peels, strawberry gum.
Oh my
Really-
god.
The husk gives this beautiful floral, bright fruit flavor. So it's really, really fun.
Amazing.
Run
And how can they buy this?
On our website, we're going to launch it. I think we've had pre-orders launched tonight to our mailing list. And
Amazing.
then you can start buying it on the website as of next Saturday, I think, or next
Awesome.
Friday, just before World Gin
Put
Day.
one of those aside for me. That looks amazing.
Maybe
Oh,
two.
Yeah, maybe. Thank you so much, bro, and it's been amazing having you. And let's fly on now to Blake with his bird, Robbie. Blake, has Robbie gone to sleep?
He was playing with his bird early on.
Blake's bird and his bird is still there.
Yes.
No,
Right.
actually,
Going from
Robbie
bed around.
is still up. Now, I have been loving the chocolate and blackthorn as a way to kick this off, but and my God, that is incredible. I love that. How do I get some at home? I need to find a way to get another bottle.
The split point gin, you go to www.casavinos.com.
Go to casadevinos.com.au. All your gin needs, you use Juniper as a code. Thank you.
We'll
John, can I just say as
link
well?
it in the chat. And
John used to work for Channel 7 at like 3 a.m. with information, selling vacuum cleaners. People here.
and if you buy it now, you get a free juniper berry.
Yeah.
My parrots have been loving the dried botanical garnishes.
Robbie
So-
the parrot, because people ask for
Lemon.
it, so Robbie the parrot.
Blake, thank you so much. And we're going to keep doing these gin journeys. This is our first stop. We're going to Tasmania. We're going to everywhere. And I'd love to have you as a big part of all of them because you're one of the most knowledgeable people I know about gin, that's for sure. So
if
I think
anyone's
for
in the
everyone watching
area
at home,
of-
Blake's going to be a familiar
Yeah,
face for all these tastings.
If anyone's in the area of Casa de Vinos, let us know and we'll deliver some cocktails to you. We got you covered.
Amazing.
Yeah. Thank you, Blake.
amazing.
All right, so Lock Distillery, thank you to Anne and to Craig and Mel for letting us have their gin here. It was amazing. And if you're ever down in Lock, go check them out. Now jumping over to Larrikin, to Dave and Chris. Dave, have we got Dave there still? How are you going, Dave?
Yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. That was fantastic to actually try all these other beautiful gins, and for Trish to actually recommend all the tonics that go well with them. So, and thanks again to you guys for actually hosting the night and having all these beautiful gins in the shop and being able to give everybody a bit of a discount code. That's very nice of you.
Yeah, well, it's one of the things is like the promotion that we do and what we do. It's just available for the supporters of what we do.
At the end of the day,
our
the
tasting.
biggest thing for us is to support distilleries, support small distilleries. We are a bottle shop, but we do a lot more than that, and we always have. And it's amazing to be able to support and send these Victorian gins all around Australia to people who might not have been able to try them before because they're not in their bottle shops.
And on the other hand, we got a big.
Not only that, it's like all the venues that have been closed for all this time as well. So it's really important that you've been given them the opportunity to try some gins that they'd be able to enjoy their local bar or venue or whatnot throughout this lockdown. So congratulations to you, and hopefully now that the lockdown's released a little bit, everybody can go back to their locals and support their local venues and
100%.
Now that you're educated on it as well.
Also want to mention all the Port Melbourne locals, which I must say after this COVID-19 happened, they've been supporting a lot of the small businesses on Bay Street, on the main street of Port Melbourne for the people who's not in Victoria. So a little bit of this is to support all these locals and friends that just come on regularly.
That's it.
You know, it's like
lots of great people, and Chris as well. Chris is still with us there. Chris, one of the doyens behind Larrikin. Chris, thank you so much. Have you enjoyed being with us tonight?
Yeah, thanks guys. It's been great. I'm really pleased with what you're doing to help promote all the distilleries in Australia. It's fantastic. I've had a great evening. Interesting gins, and like everyone else, we're looking forward to things opening up and welcoming people back to Ballarat and to enjoy going around visiting all the distilleries. So hopefully not long.
That's it. Cheers, Chris. Thanks.
Thank you very much for coming in on board.
And really, like a lot of people tonight might not have tried a barrel gin because they're not too common a thing. But it's an emerging thing in this amazing gin landscape, which is the Australian gin scene. There's so much innovation going on, and so to highlight a barrel aged gin here is awesome, and I think it's been great to do so. And then we'll go to Anne. We were just with Anne, but we'll slide on back to her. Anne, thank you so much for showing us your amazing gins. It's been...
Thank you again. Thanks for having us.
I've still got a little bit in here with my candied orange. I'm gonna top it.
I'll see you over the weekend, Jono.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully I've got to drive as soon as I can, so I should probably not top my glass up too much more, but I'll give myself a little thimble. But it's been amazing having you on, Anne, and so impressed by your gin, and can't wait to see the way that you grow in the next couple of years, because I think it's going to be such an awesome journey. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Trish, if we can slide back over to Trish.
Back to Trish.
So Trish is a big part of these tastings. Trish helps me decide which tonics to go with which gins, and she knows probably about 10 times more about gin than anyone else that I've ever met in my life. So Trish, thanks so much for your help with these tastings and for supporting us as well.
If juniper was like lead, she would have poison right now.
You're not wrong. And Jono, thank you for the kind words. And Jose, it's so great to be involved. Like, you guys are so amazing, and you really do care about what you guys sell, and that really translates. And I think that passion just is invigorating. I just love being involved. So thank you for having me. And to all the guys, all these amazing distillers and people on the panel involved with gin, and you guys are listening along. It actually makes my day that, like, this is what I get to do with my life, and it's because of you guys. So thank you so much. Amazing. Thank you.
You are a superstar, and I cannot wait to... You're probably going to be pretty busy next week with the Fever Tree week coming up. But I'm gonna message you probably in a couple of days and say, hey, we've got these 5 amazing Tasmanian gins coming up. Can you help me match the tonics to them? And I know you'll be so busy, but I'll just keep bumping it in your emails until you get back to me.
Absolutely, would love to help. Amazing.
Thank you so much, Trish. So as we mentioned,
it's been a wrap. It's been amazing.
Yeah. So as we mentioned earlier, the next gin tasting, we're going to keep this going. This is Victoria. We're going to go to Tasmania. We're not going to tell you where we're going after that, but we're going to do a tour of Australia, and we've got a few other surprises in store.
Maybe we're going international. No,
don't start spreading the rumors.
Don't know.
But this Quince gin is an Australian sort of spread first. They've only got a small batch of this. We've got
this is you can only get this if you go to Tassie. And you got to do 14 days quarantine right now. So
we're going to spread
this
that.
This is your only chance.
This Lorini pink gin, very new. The Taylor and
Lorini pink gin,
really great as well.
I love pink.
McKenna is butterfly gin. We've got a lot of colour going on. Taylor and Smith, this is one of the most pretty gins I've tried recently.
Joe should try to sell vacuums and other stuff and food slicers like early times of the night.
So we've got some awesome gins coming up for the Tasmanian tasting. Please get involved. The idea is the same. We want to support Tasmanian distilleries. We want to showcase some gins that you might not be able to try from your local bottle shop. That's what we do. and it's so great to have all you guys here. Amazing distillers, amazing consumers, amazing human beings that love gin, and the Australian gin scene is booming, and we're just so glad that we can be here and be a part of it with all of you, because we all love gin. So let's all raise our glasses, if we've got any left, to the screen, and cheers to gin, because it's next week. So cheers, everybody.
Cheers,
Cheers, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. All right.
Blake, you're looking sensational, by the way.
Yes, I told him
Why
that.
is everybody so much? What's all this nonsense about gin being depressing? Everybody is lovely.
Everyone's happy. And next Saturday is World Gin Day. Trisha's got some amazing stuff going on with Fever Tree. Probably all the distilleries have their own little thing going on. Come into Casa de Vinos, and I've got 100 bottles of gin open here, and you can try them all. So next Saturday, let's get our gin on. Let's party, because that's what it's all about. Thanks so much to everyone who's got involved tonight, and we'll see you next time. We'll see you in Tassie.
We'll see you in Tassie. Just short from 30 days, right?
3rd of July.
Yeah, 3rd of July, the Tasmanian gin tasting. We put the link before. With Code Juniper, you get 10% on the tasting and anything else. Thank you very much for everyone, and I'll see you guys in a month's time.
We love you all.
Guys, thanks for having us.
Bye.
Guys. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Thank you.